Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. Like, oh my god.
Hi guys, welcome back to our studio. I'm Joe from Treve, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the brand new product Annie Sloan just launched. It's called the Pearlescent Glaze. This is actually a sample and we're going to play around with it. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'm also going to show you what we're going to do with this ugly baby. There's a new kit on the block and it is called Pearlescent Glaze. It's a new product from Annie Sloan, just released, and I got my hands on a sample and let's play around with it. So what is Pearlescent Glaze? It's a water-based glaze that you can put over your chalk paint. So if you want to be posh, it's a light reflecting decorative finish, or it's a glaze that you put over your paint. So there's three ways of using it. Number one, you can do it just straight on top of your chalk paint after you've painted it. And it'll work as a sealer. The second option is to first use a layer of lacquer and then use your pearlescent glaze on top of that. And the third way of doing it is to mix a little bit of paint in your pearlescent glaze and then paint with that. So we're going to do all of those options today. So let's get some paint on the board. I painted this board with Overson blue, Empress silk and old white. We're going to play around with some colors here. The pearlescent glaze also looks absolutely fabulous just painted on white. It literally looks like a pearl. So let's start with the Overson side. So if you just dip your brush in there, you can see the texture is quite thick, but it's very beautiful and lustrous. Let's just paint that on there. So this is a bit of paint that I didn't seal, so it's just raw on top of the chalk paint. On this side, I sealed it with lacquer. Let's see what it does there. Also very beautiful. It feels like it goes a little bit further on this side because it doesn't absorb into the paint quite so much. But also it gives you a nice tinge of blue. We're going to get to this in a minute, don't worry. Let's try it on the red, on the Empress silk. Again, this is the unsealed section of it. It does leave quite a bit of brush marks, so you'll need to just be careful of that. Very nice. And let's try it on the lacquered bit. Again, it gives better coverage down here because it's not absorbing into the paint quite as much. I actually like it when it's more feathered out than too strong in the middle here. And it dries quite quickly. This is dry already, this is already dry. So one of the other techniques that you can use is called the bone inlay technique. And this is to just make your piece look like there's a little bits of bone laid into the piece of furniture. So what you would do is you would paint your furniture like this, then you would seal it, and then go over it and draw your bone inlay design. I just drew a very simple and quick leaf pattern. And then what you would do is you would go everywhere where there's leaves, you would just put this. Try not to get it on everything. There you go. And there you have it. That's what the bone inlay technique looks like. So you only paint the pearlescent glaze on top of your old white design that you've put down. So the third technique that you can use is to mix a little bit of paint with your pearlescent glaze. So you'll mix very small amounts of paint with your pearlescent glaze because the more paint you add, the less lustrous and pearlescent the glaze will become. So let's put a little bit of that down on here. And I'm going to add a little bit of Provence. I'm going to put it right next to it. Incorporate it. And here you can see the minute you add too much paint, then the glaze disappears. It disappears around about here. So small amounts of paint mixed in with the glaze. Let's try another color. I'm gonna try some Overson. Look at that small amount. How about that? It looks beautiful. So this, the pearlescent, I feel works best on a piece that's painted already. So if you want to paint, let's say for instance this Overson, if you want to use Overson pearlescent, then I would paint the cupboard Overson, and then I would definitely add a layer of an Overson tinted glaze on top of it. Otherwise it's just going to be like this. So if you want the Overson to be nice and lustrous, then I definitely mix in some Overson with my pearlescent glaze and put that over the Overson. And that gives you this effect. So the glaze also looks beautiful if you put it just over white, straight as it is. Let me get some on here. Look at how beautiful that is. Now that really looks like pearl. So what I want to know is, what will this look like if you put wax over it? Let's try it. So I've got some clear wax here. And remember, we didn't wax this bit up here. So I'm going to put it over, this is already dry. So I'm going to try and put a little bit of wax over the pearlescent sealer here. So it definitely does dull it a little bit, but it's not a big difference. And one of the other ways that you can use this pearlescent glaze is by using it on a stencil. So the best way to do it is with one of these little sponges and not with a brush, because a brush will give you horrible marks, horrible brush marks. So let's try it over here. And I mean, this is just stenciling 101. Put it down. I should actually tape it down, but nobody's got the patience for that. And then we'll just stencil with the pearlescent glaze over our painted area. Moment of truth. I think that looks absolutely fabulous. Okay, so let's try and use it practically as well. I painted 3 bottles here, again with these 3 colors that we've been using. I just want to see what it looks like when you use it on a product. So this is the first bottle painted with old white, and then it's got this pearlescent over it. So this is just straight pearlescent on top of old white. Nice. Now I want to mix a little bit of a glaze. Take some of the pearlescent glaze and Provence. Let's mix that in there. Just a small amount of paint. And then you get a beautifully tinted look. This is just pearlescent on top of old white, and then we also have a glaze with Provence on top of old white. Next up, Empress Silk. So there it is, straight on top of the paint, and on this side we made a glaze with the same color. Looks amazing. It's a great versatile product. There you have it. Pearlescent Glaze is a very versatile product to use, either on its own, mixed with other chalk paint, or to stencil with. I can't wait to get it on a piece of furniture in our shop. If you like today's video, please give us a thumbs up, share the video, click the bell icon so that you get notifications of any future videos, and please comment on our videos. I'd love to know what you think. Until next time, I'm Joe. Stay creative. So you stuck around, you're nosy, aren't you? Let me show you what we did with this piece. So we painted the little guy in old white, and then we did a glaze with Emil and the new pearlescent glaze, and we just covered the whole piece in that. Click the little bell icon so you get notifications. That fly just literally landed on the lens. And it's still around.